Hello, welcome to the second of the Stage Tech Digital Subtitle Training series of videos. In case you haven't seen the first video, which you really should, my name is Ollie and I'm the Program Systems Manager at Stage Tech. Just to remind you, these videos cover what is usually a paid-for training session, but we're putting them out to the world during the COVID-19 situation to encourage high-quality subtitles. If you find them useful, do consider donating to Stage Tech to support us, to support you, in ensuring that deaf audiences can access your online video. There'll be a link in the description. Thank you. Okay, so let's move on with the next section, section 2, benefits of subtitles. So the top benefit is, of course, accessibility. That's what we're here for, that's what we do. Subtitles make content accessible for deaf people. They fill in the blanks, as we explained at the end of the last video. They also support lip reading and small lip movements, which can be really useful if you've got, say, a video of a lecture theatre or a video of a stage performance and the person speaking at a distance. People who rely on lip reading aren't going to be able to see those tiny little details on a video, and so the subtitles can really help with that. As well as if somebody's turning away from the camera. If I'm like, oh, turning back here, you can't lip read me anymore. And the subtitles allow you to continue understanding what it is that I'm saying. So remember what we said earlier, all those reasons why subtitles are important, as well as the huge number of people not served by BSL. But there are some other people who benefit, and it never hurts to have more incentive as to why you should be subtitling. So the next one is people on the autism spectrum. So we've found there's been lots of discussions within sort of the community of people who are on the autism spectrum who also use subtitles. And the reason for this is that videos can cause sensory overload. There's lots of noise, there's lots of moving images, there's lots of music and background, and there's lots of stuff going on, and it can be a lot to kind of process and take on. And so often people will mute the video and watch it with just the subtitles, because then that cuts out all the noise. It's just what you see, but you can still understand what people are saying and you can still stick with the plot and just enjoy whatever it is that you're watching. Another reason is that people on the autism spectrum can become very frustrated when they don't have complete information about something. So when they, miss little bits here and there. So in videos, particularly with sort of, some of the modern acting trends of mouth breathing and just talking very quietly, those bits of misinformation can become frustrating and mean that they don't enjoy the experience of watching what it is that they're watching. And the subtitles, again, they fill in those gaps. They give them that complete information so they can enjoy the video for what it is. Next on the list is people with ADHD and attention disorders. There's so many studies that have found that subtitles has an impact on attention and staying focused to things. And the reason for this is that people read automatically. We train our brain to do this. We're experts at reading, and when we see words, we just start reading automatically. We're going to have a look at this in a later section, so do come back for that as well. But basically, subtitles help to pull and maintain focus. So this can be really useful for people who struggle to focus. And again, this has been studied. They found really great impact of subtitles on people being able to stay and absorb what the video is actually talking about. Family and friends. So those three previous ones are examples of how subtitles benefit the person watching it directly. Family and friends is kind of an incidental benefit. So deaf people don't exist in isolation. They have social groups, they have families, I have friends, I'm popular. And when something's not accessible to one person in that group, the rest of the group, they're not going to say, well, I guess you can't watch it, then you stay home and we'll go without you. If they did, then you probably shouldn't be friends with them. But the point that I'm getting at here is that, if my family say to me, hey Ollie, let's go see this theatre show, usually I'm up for it because I love the theatre. But if it's not captioned, then I can't go see it. Well, I can, but I won't understand it, and frankly, it's a waste of my time. So then they say, right, well, we'll go on the captioned performance, or we'll go to another show that is captioned. They're not going to go without me. Same with my friends, they say, let's go to the cinema, and I'm like, great, let's do it. Is it subtitled? Most of the time, it's not. So then we don't go. So by having the subtitles in place, you then benefit those other people around the deaf person to also go and enjoy those things, because they get to go and enjoy it with their friend who relies on the subtitles for access. Next, education literacy levels. So similar with the studies on attention, there have been lots of studies that have shown that subtitles increase the ability to read, remember, and learn material. It's a similar concept to why you might read a bedtime story to a child while they also read it. They are seeing and hearing the words at the same time. And memory is about connection. So when you have more sensory input, you've got the sound of what's being said and the vision of the words being written. That creates more connections, and it makes it easier to remember things, to comprehend them, and also it's practicing English. You're practicing reading English, and that's literacy. So in education, there's huge benefit there for children watching videos with subtitles. I wish that my school had known this when I was at school, because I can remember many occasions where there would be a video in the class and I would ask, are there subtitles? And of course, there were not. And this really set me at a disadvantage because I went to a mainstream school. Everyone else in the class was hearing, so they could actually enjoy and study and partake in the video, and I just wouldn't really know what was going on. So I think it's really important to have subtitles and access. I think it should be a standard. Subtitles in education, rather. Speaking of children, Action Hearing Loss found that there are over 45,000 deaf children in the UK with a permanent hearing loss. This figure does not include children who experience temporary hearing loss for, whatever medical reason that might be. So there's thousands more who are not included in this figure. And this is really important because it means that people of all ages benefit from subtitles. It's not just older people. It's not just, that 16 to 65. It's everyone. From cradle to grave, everyone in between can benefit from subtitles. There will be someone at every point in their stage of life who will be benefiting from subtitles. I always had this pet peeve when I was younger that so much of deaf access was focused on older people. If you look at, phones that are designed for deaf people, they're always designed for older people. They're designed to be big so that people with deteriorating vision can see the buttons. And for me, as a deaf teenager, trying to find something that I can use, it was just, just very discouraging. So do make sure that you think about everyone that can benefit from subtitles. And another point about children is that when you make children feel welcome and engaged and cared for, they'll become loyal visitors. So when you have, accessible content, what you're saying to deaf children is, you have a space here, we're going to make sure that you can enjoy this just as much as everyone else around you. And they'll really take that on board. So, an example would be a pantomime. Subtitled pantomimes or captioned pantomimes means that the whole family can watch it. The parent's not going to take their kids to a pantomime that they can't follow along. You see? They're not going to do it. And they're not going to leave their kid behind and go watch the pantomime without them. So, again, with deaf children, access gets the whole family there, not just the kids. And there was actually a study by the Harris Group in 2014 that shows that millennials value experiences over things, and 78% will choose to spend money on an experience rather than an object. And visiting your venue, whether that is a theatre show, a gallery, a museum, a library, all of this is an experience. Make it an accessible experience, and they will be happy to visit, and they will remember the visit and that it was an accessible one. Moving back on to the benefits of subtitles, we've got some more because there's just so many. So English as an additional language. We've all studied languages at school, and we know that there's a big jump between studying it on the page and then talking it with people or watching a film in that language. It's a lot. Subtitles can help because it brings it a little bit back to that kind of reading bit. So, when somebody says something in a foreign language, you have a bit of time to read it before it moves on to the next thing, so you can have some more time to understand it. Your audience can have more time to understand the English if they don't speak English as their first language. And living in England, where we have such a diverse culture and so many people speaking so many different languages, it's really important to bear this in mind because that is a big audience. So the next one is kind of an unexpected benefit of subtitles. for academics and enthusiasts on the subject. So what we have found by chance is that we find a lot of people come to caption shows or use subtitles so that they can study the text of a show whilst they're watching it. Often in the case of Shakespeare's, you have people who would like to watch the actual words themselves and how the actors portray them. And having the subtitles and the captions there allow them to do that without having to have the script and the little torch during the show. So that was just kind of a random one that just happened. And it's viewable in more locations. So, it's 2020, video is mobile, which is a good thing right now with everyone staying at home. People watch videos in all sorts of places. They watch them on the train, they watch them at home, on the sofa, in bed, all sorts of places. And some of these places you maybe wouldn't have the sound on and maybe don't have headphones. So again, on the train, if you've got a sleeping baby, if you're in the office and you should be working but you want to watch a video, anywhere that you can't have sound, subtitles means that they can still watch the video and they can still enjoy the video without having the sound on, without having the headphones. Because I know that a lot of people sometimes they'll need to get the headphones, they can't bother, they move on. They don't watch the video if it doesn't have subtitles. So another benefit there for them and also for you. And boosting SEO, similarly, so this is more for your benefit as a sort of provider. So subtitles boost SEO, which is search engine optimization. There's a few reasons for this. Mostly it's because the algorithms that, search the internet and put things forward for search results, they can read the subtitle files. So for example, if you've got a video that is an interview with someone and the title of the video says interview with so-and-so, and the description just saying that you did an interview on this date, here it is. None of that tells the search engine optimization algorithms what the content of the video, what did you ask them about, what did they talk about, all this kind of stuff. So it can't rely on that for someone who is searching for those topics. But with the subtitles, with the subtitle file, it can read that. So it knows that you asked about their early life, it knows that they spoke about this project and that research, and so when somebody's looking for that stuff, those little bits and pieces, it knows that this is connected to that video, it can then promote that video. Another reason is that organizations want to promote access, so algorithms on Facebook and YouTube will promote videos higher in their search results if they have subtitles. And also on YouTube, it's possible to filter search results to only show videos with subtitles, which is obviously great for me because it means I never see a video that's not subtitled, but it's not so great for people who don't have subtitles on their videos because then no matter how catchy your title is, no matter how enticing your thumbnail is, it's just not even going to show up. People won't see it. So that's another benefit there for you. And finally, future-proofing. So with future-proofing, there are kind of two ways to future-proof with subtitles. The first way is that you subtitle something now and it stays subtitled. It's a one-time investment in the video that stays with it. As long as you keep the subtitle file with the video, that stays with it. It's not impossible to imagine that one day we might be required to subtitle all videos. And if they're already done, that's not a problem. If they're not done, then suddenly you need to subtitle your whole backlog. So we always recommend subtitling as you go along. And this definitely is important currently in the crisis because people are putting stuff online that they've had in their archives that is not subtitled. And now all of a sudden they need to get it subtitled. And it's like a huge mess. Plan ahead, make sure you include that in. But that is a benefit to you because stuff you subtitled today will still be subtitled next year, 2 years, 10 years, 50 years, it will still be subtitled and people can still use that stuff as subtitled. Current law requires you to make reasonable adjustments. It's kind of a grey area. It's hard to say what is a reasonable adjustment and it's not very heavily enforced, but it's becoming more enforced. It can be said that subtitles are a reasonable adjustment. They're easy to do and they're not overly expensive. You don't want to be caught out by somebody saying you should be doing this because they're not difficult. Also, the other hand is that subtitles, they're text files, so they are easier to search through. Similar to how search engine algorithms can search through subtitle files to find what the content is about, you can too. So if you've got, say an archive of videos that are all subtitled and you're looking for this one particular video, it's much easier to search through the subtitle file because you can, Control F and find everything. Where with videos, you can't really do that. So that's a benefit to you in managing your archive and keeping track of stuff in the years to come. So these are all these benefits. These are examples of universal design. You do one thing for deaf people and all the other people benefit. Their friends, their family, people who are entirely unrelated to deaf people, everyone benefits from subtitles. There's no study that has been shown that anyone is disadvantaged by subtitles. There's no loss. Literally, everyone benefits. With the exception, of course, people who are visually impaired, who can't see the subtitles, it's not going to help them. But yeah, there's never a point where putting subtitles on something leads to a loss of viewers. It doesn't happen. It's funny, being someone who uses subtitles a lot, you come across people who say, oh, I don't really like subtitles, I don't really want to watch stuff with subtitles. But then you put it on and they're fine. They keep watching. And it's really funny how people will say, I don't like subtitles, I find them distracting. But then when they watch a foreign film, they don't have a problem with subtitles. And really, it's not the subtitles they have a problem with, it's just that they don't want to do it. So, we've got to push them a little bit. But point is, they're not going to leave, they will continue to watch it. So just having a look at this thing called the undeclared audience. Okay, so this is a case study of a caption show that we did. And this is just to highlight what I've just been saying. So we'll just go through this quickly now. So at the Octagon Theatre Bolton, we did a caption show. And there were 112 people in the audience. And none of them had said that they were there for the captions. Yeah, they were just there to watch the show. As far as we knew, not a single person in the audience wanted or needed the captions. No declared caption users. And we had these little cards on all the chairs that said, if you found the captions useful, please return them to the bucket by the door. There was somebody holding a bucket to collect the cards. And at the end of the show, 70 people returned the cards saying they found it useful, which is 63% of the total audience. And what this shows is that many people do not request captioning, but they are using it. They are benefiting from it, and often they are turning out specifically for it. And again, this is just to highlight the point that there's so many other people, because that 63%, that is a lot more than 1 in 6 of the audience. It's a lot. So yeah, people will use it, people will benefit from it. Don't always assume that it's not helpful because people aren't telling you, because people aren't asking you. It is. We know for a fact it is. There's studies that show that it is. But people want to just go about their life. They don't want to be constantly feeding back to say, thank you for doing that, that and that. You don't go to a museum and give feedback to say, oh, I'm really glad that I could walk up the steps. I was really glad that I could go to the toilet. These things are just things that you expect to be there for you, and you can just use them as you use them in everyday life. Looking deeper into these numbers, we found that on average there tends to be a 20% increase for the numbers who book for captioning and the people who are there for captioning. So there's always a jump up, never a jump down. So we find the same in our talks program. Just in case I haven't gone over it already, for live subtitling, our talks and tours program, this is for events that are unscripted. So it might be a conference, a talk, a tour through a gallery or museum, and we use live speech-to-text reporting for this, where a speech-to-text reporter will have an audio feed either from the room or remotely, and they will type with a phonetic keyboard as things are being spoken, and that gets put through some software and it gets beamed out and it comes out onto either a screen or some tablets so that people can read the live subtitles as stuff's being said and follow along that way. Important to note, it's done by hand, by a person, so it's usually much more accurate than speech recognition. But yes, in our talk program, we find the same jump between the number of people who declare they are using the live subtitling and the number of people who found it useful. And again, this just shows that there's so many other people who benefit from subtitles besides just deaf people. We always see this increase, we never see a decrease. Never. Here we just have a quote from a user. I'm just going to read it out just for you. Having the support of the subtitles on the screen means there's no added stress of trying to lip read and hear what I can from my hearing aid. And this should highlight the range of skills that people use to access lip reading, hearing aids, all of this. But both of those things, they're kind of like, they're sort of analog in that it can vary in how difficult and easy it is to use them. I wear hearing aids, and with a hearing aid, I can have a conversation, but it still gets tiring because I have to concentrate and I have to lip read and it takes focus, I have to concentrate on that. With subtitles, it's kind of like binary. As long as they're there and they're to the right sort of level of quality, they're there, they provide the access. There's no sort of chance of them being wrong or you misreading them. When I'm having a conversation with someone, I can mishear them, I can lip read because lip reading is hard. But with subtitles, I'm not going to misread that. As long as they are correct and accurate, that's it, I'm sorted, I'm good. We've got another quote here from someone that we've worked with. Subtitles are a superb initiative. They lend themselves to so many audiences, amongst them deaf and partially hearing audiences, and young as well as older visitors. So far, the feedback has been unequivocally positive. And so again, that just highlights the range of audiences that can benefit from subtitles and the fact that there's always positive feedback. You may get the occasional person who says, oh, I wish you didn't have subtitles, I find them distracting. But again, they'll still watch it. Whereas for the people who rely on subtitles, if they're not there, they're not going to watch it. And it's as simple as that, really. And that's it for section 2. Thanks for watching. I hope you understand a little bit more about some of the other benefits of subtitles to deaf audiences, to other audiences, and to you. Once again, if you found this useful, the link for donations is down in the description. We'll be so grateful for any support you can offer. My email is oliver@stagetech.org if you have any questions, but they may well be answered in the rest of these videos, so watch through those first. There's another 4 to come, so mosey on over to number 3, and I will see you there. Bye!